Welcome to We Are Soccer. Today, I'm joined by David Robertson, the Girls Academy Director at the Nationals Soccer Club here in Michigan. I've been wanting to talk to David for quite some time. He's been brought up here by the Nationals to really help grow their club, and man, are they doing awesome. David, thank you for joining. Very much looking forward to our conversation today.
Yeah, Craig, I appreciate you bringing me on, and excited to chat this incredible sport with you.
Awesome. All right, so you're originally from England,
Yep.
right? You came here to the U.S. Via your parents. You lived in Cincinnati. How did you get to Detroit?
Yeah, so it was an interesting story. It was, it moved around a little bit in America, but, really enjoyed Cincinnati. We were, at Cup building something really cool, and it ended up being, when the Girls Development Academy came around, it was a partnership with what at the time was the USL team going to the MLS and FC Cincinnati, and they'd built kind of a really cool local culture similar to kind of DCFC that, really about the community and getting people involved. And so we were their female youth program, ran that. And it was that weird stage of, I'd known Granthik and Jeremy for years, having coached against them, and, always respected them and what they do. And, obviously the soccer was really good. Obviously the reputation of the clubs was incredible, and it was, the kids obviously loved playing for Nationals, and you could tell that. And it was, with what we'd built in Cincinnati, I had a great job, worked with some really good people, and it was going to take something special to kind of pull me away. I'd, been headhunted for a few jobs and just didn't get that feeling of, hey, this is right. And it was, probably in the back of my head, had a list of a couple of clubs that I would maybe do it for. And, it randomly came up in conversation one day, and I was like, well, maybe I'd consider it. And that was enough for them to get like the hooks in a little bit. And it just kind of grew and evolved from there. And, ended up coming up here to visit and take a look at areas to live and things like that. Ironically, right before COVID started happening. So I ended up accepting the job about 3 or 4 days before the world just kind of shut down. And then that was in like the March, and then ended up moving up here in the June, kind of in the middle of the pandemic, which made for an interesting experience of getting started and everything. But yeah, it was the appeal of, obviously Nationals had done a really, really good job, but it was the appeal of, oh my goodness, how much more can we be, and what a market Detroit is, and the talent that's here. And it's always good on a local and regional level, but it can be a dominant force on the national level, and let's do it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you and I talked before we started filming here, and we talked about how nice Detroit is and some of the talent in Detroit. So both of those things you said have surprised you. I mean, the people in Detroit are great, and I've been saying this for years. The talent of soccer player here, female and male, it's great to see someone come from out of state or out of the region and really see that as well. You're enjoying it, I take it, here in Detroit?
Yeah, loved it. Like you kind of said, is I think when you're not in here regularly, you maybe get a perception that the city doesn't necessarily warrant, right? But the being from kind of the northeast of England, it reminds me very much of there. It's blue collar, hardworking, but wonderful people to be around. People will say hello, people will come up to you and talk to you at restaurants and things like that. And it's just a very, for how 7.5 million people in the Detroit metro area, it feels very small, and kind of family, which is really cool and hard to do blend. But it's been awesome to experience, and it's the 2.5 years I've been here have flown by, and I've loved it, and I could see myself here for a long time.
That's awesome. And the talent, right? The soccer talent here is just it's untapped.
Well, that was there's a lot of places where when you're putting teams together and you go, okay, well, it's we've got 5 or 6 standout kids. We've got kids who are good and kind of the middle of the roster, and then it's how do you form the rest? And a Cup, we were lucky we were able to form 2-3 very good teams deep, and through a lot of hard work. But coming here, you look at, an example would be our 2007 girls age group, right? And it's a good age group across the country, but our top team is maybe the best team in the country. Our second team lost in overtime of the national quarterfinals. Wow. Our third team, who's in the US Youth platform, just won National League and is going back to Nationals for the second time.
Wow.
And you go, that's 3 teams deep. Like, it's unimaginable that one club could support that, and a city, and you go, hey, you know what? Hawks have got a very good 07 team. Jags have got a good 07 team. And there's other teams out there where you're like, wow, this is all from one city, not a state, one city.
That's crazy to think. And you mentioned the other clubs. I see on the social media for all these clubs, you guys are promoting that you're playing against each other. You seem to be very friendly in clubs because there's a lot of players. And I got to be honest, it's fun to watch that, you guys promoting and helping each other and promoting for the players. All these clubs, especially the Nationals, the way they do their social media stuff, you guys are promoting the players, and it's all about the players. Is that the culture you're trying to implement or have implemented there and trying to grow even more? Is it's about the players and about the skills and about just getting them off to the next level?
Yeah, I'd be silly if I didn't say that was one of my major focuses. Is, I think having come from places and grown up where culture is king, a lot of things tend to fall in place when you go. We've created an environment that everybody wants to be a part of. Coaches and players, they want to come to training every day. They want to compete. And then it's creating that love of the badge, of, hey, I wear this to school because I love it and I'm proud of it, right? And, a lot of that obviously comes from the relationships they build and the success on the field. But, at the same time, the youth landscape's a bit of a strange one at the minute, right? In terms of, you've got different leagues and people are separated and, people don't want to play each other because if we lose, we're going to lose players. And to me, that's, if we are losing players because we lose one game, then there's more going wrong, right? So it's that, we always want to make sure our house is in shape. And just like if we beat a team, I don't expect their players to come over to us. It's, we want to play the best teams possible. So, we play Hawks multiple times a year. We've played Liverpool in the Jags showcase. We obviously play Jags in the Girls Academy. We play Midwest United. We're actually in February going to play international. So for me, I think league patches a lot of times get a way overbuilt reputation. It's about what do you do at the club level every single day, right? So it's regardless of a league patch, are you providing the best training environment? Do your kids genuinely know that you care about them as a human being, right? Because then they'll run through a wall for you. And that's the being able to know every kid in our program's name and ask about their dog or ask about their brother, and it just makes them feel that we care, and we do. And that's the cool thing is, you can not faking that, and everyone has to be bought in. And our coaches, we're lucky we've got an incredible group that are all on that same set of values of we get to coach these incredible young women and, help them with the sport. And then, obviously years and years of building up, resumes and sending players on to colleges and national teams and pro and things like that. We've got a good reputation to be able to talk to coaches. And, even just last night, Jeff Hostler from Michigan State was out at our training, just watching our kids, train and the environment and things like that. So we're lucky that we have kind of an unmatched exposure opportunity. But at the end of the day, for me, it's let's play the best because that's what makes us better. And I don't care what league you're from. I don't care what state you're from. Let's play. Let's test ourselves, and you know what? Let's have a lot of fun while we do it. Because especially locally, it's like, you can create all this good banter between the kids and the rivalries, and that never happens if you don't get to play.
I got to be honest. This is putting a huge smile on my face. The banter that the kids can have and the rivalries they can have, but also something you said there is it's about knowing the kids and about most of these kids are not going to grow up to be professionals, but a couple of them will. But it's about teaching them life lessons, getting them into practice, right? Training them the right way and saying, show up on time, be a good person, be a good teammate. That is something that you don't hear a lot of clubs say these days. It's more about winning and losing. Winning is important, but a lot of people, a lot of coaches these days forget that these kids are going to grow up and they're going to become adults who go to work somewhere. And do they know to show up on time? Do they know that they're part of a team? Do they know how to be part of a team and respect other people? So it's good to hear you say stuff like that in the culture. Is that the culture you guys are building at the Nationals or have built and keep continuing to enforce? And what would you say is the overarching philosophy with yourself and the Nationals?
Yeah, love that question and thought process. And we always want to be the people that are known for obviously playing great soccer and a great culture, but we want each one of these kids, and for us creating, especially because I'm focused on the Girls Academy program, and it's creating, confident and empowered young women that will go and change their communities when they're older, and we'll teach them how to do it now, right? So we're really lucky in terms of we create we've done everything from canned food drives to the Socket November with the Noah's Ark project here in downtown Detroit to give new socks and underwear to the homeless population, but everything as well as, hey, there was a single mom who had cancer and she had multiple kids, and our kids all got together and made sure they had the most incredible Christmas, so she never had to worry about that. So we do lots of community service, and I think a lot of clubs do a good job of that. But one of the things that we're kind of at the point that I like is I've just started I've got the 3 older blue teams and challenged them, sent them a thing beginning of February is your challenge this month is, and it's up to you how you do it, because it's the winter and it's easy to be kind of down a little bit at times, and remember that that's the case with other people too. So find one person your age and one adult that you think's doing an awesome job and tell them, right? Whether you write them a handwritten note or whether you just go up to them, look them in the eye and tell them, hey, I just want you to know you're doing a really good job and I appreciate you, right? And it's, some of the kids have come back and been like, I didn't know how to react to, like, they were like, wow, that meant so much to me. And it's like something so small.
Yeah.
And for them to understand that it's so easy as a teenager, and we're really privileged, in this program we work with the top 1%, right? And I think a lot of times for them it's easy to, a lot of things in life they work really hard, but a lot of things come easy, right? Sure. They're super athletic, they're super talented, they have great personalities, but it's remember how you are talked about when you leave a room is just as important because of the impression you made on that group, who you may never see again. Right. So I think that's a thing of, we always try to strive to, you will always create more opportunity for yourself, the better person you are, right? And the more genuine you are and the more vulnerable, but at the same time being confident in yourself. And if things are being discussed that maybe aren't right, or there's the, because misery loves company, are you going to be the confident enough young woman to be like, hey, no, right? Okay, yep, there's a problem. Let's find a solution. Let's do it, right? So let's change things in that aspect. And that's the cool thing, is you're seeing it come over and over. And I think one of the coolest things that I saw the other day is on social media, ironically, was one of our kids didn't just share the post that we did about a kid getting called up to the national team. They made their own to say how proud of their teammate they are, right? And that's a cool thing, because this girl's not been called up to the national team, but her teammate has. And it's easy to be like, hey, I'm on a really good team, and that should be me. Right. Okay, maybe it should, but she did, and you're genuinely happy for her, right? And I think that's the cool thing of, and those are, 14, 15-year-old girls right now. And so for them to get to understand that and build that is, it's, we're lucky we're going to have a higher number than most places going on to play in college and go on professionally, but every single one of these people is going to be, no matter if they're a pro, they're a doctor, they're a teacher, they're, a wife, whatever it might be, they're going to be in a community. So are they going to make it better, right? And at the end of the day, is it they can think about it and be like, hey, those are the things I learned while I was at nationals. All the soccer stuff, yes, but I learned this really cool thing about life.
I absolutely love the fact that what you just said there, everything you just said has nothing to do with soccer. It's just about creating and helping people be better people and spreading love within the community.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. On the soccer side, what is... You'd mentioned you guys try to play a little bit differently. Are you more possession-based? Are you more... Give me an example. What are you personally looking to see from your top-level teams? Are you looking for that Barcelona tiki-taka type of possession? Or are you looking for the old-school, thump it to the number 9, win the knockdowns? What are you looking for, and how do you play? Give us a little example.
Yeah, so it's funny. This is actually one of the things that really appealed to me about this job is, Grontek and Jeremy are very much of... They've got this love of, like 2008 to 2010 era Barcelona of, the Guardiola years and, just what they played. And it was everybody still to this day references that as, that was special. You might maybe not like it, but it was special, right? So that's the big thing is obviously we want to we implement that. And, the goal has always been, right, if you don't know one team from another, but you walk up to us on a field, right, and we're just wearing blank jerseys, you can't see this, right? And you go, that's a nationals team, right? Because we play and we knock it. And for us, everything we do, so we don't go into game days having, hey, we've scouted this team, they've got this player, but they've got that player. Even with our 19s, really, who are, about to go to college, they'll maybe get a little bit more information, but this is how we play. These are our principles. Our principles don't change, right? So for us, we're a little bit different because you'll hear clubs talk about our team's playing a 4-3-3. Okay. Like our teams, we probably play 6 or 7 different shapes throughout a season, and it's all about creating different points of emphasis. Okay, you play in a 4-4-2 diamond because you want to develop really attacking outside backs, right? You play in a 2 front that's central because you want to create players that learn how to combine an attacking mid that's able to run beyond, or you split them because you want to teach them how to take away certain aspects, right? So we'll do lots of things within that, but for us, everything is about the principles of how we play, and we want to build out. But we also add in a little bit of the element of, hey, you know what? If you can get your head up, if we're getting pressed, so there's 10 of their players in our half, the space is where? And it's behind. So it's not a long ball or kick ball. That's what the game is telling you.
Yep.
Because one of the things that has been really cool is the number of college coaches at really big programs that have, and real programs in general, but have come back and said is like blown away by the soccer IQ and how your guys' kids come in, and it doesn't matter how we play, they know how to do it.
Right.
Because our kids know the game. It's the same as in training. We're not going to put touch restrictions on them because there's no touch restriction in the game. Right? So the game will tell you. Right? You might have to get a rondo going, it's one touch because they've had a long day and you can see it on their faces and you need to get the energy up. But it's, what does the game tell you? Right? And when this player is stepping here, how do I move? Right? That's the game.
Yeah.
So for us, it's always our principles, and we are very distinct in how we want to play, and we want to dominate the ball. And when we don't have it, we want to repress you and make your life a nightmare. It's our toy, give it back, and we're gonna have a temper tantrum until we get it. Right?
I love it.
So
Absolutely love that.
I mean, for us, it's as well. It's as a director and as a coach, it now makes it easy because the number of times we've had 2008s come play with our 2006s and vice versa, and for them the nervousness goes away because they can step in and they know, I know exactly what this is going to be because I can now step in and they can actually showcase themselves and shine, and you go, those kids are 2 or 3 years younger, like wow, so it's been really cool to see that kind of evolution. And I think our teams are at that stage now, and now we want to continue to grow it. And obviously, the little babies at 13, when they come in, they're just learning and they'll make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay, right? We're never going to change. So I think that's a big piece. And especially for coaches learning, it's hard because this isn't going to work for like 6 months, right? And it's going to be hard, and it's explaining that to the parents of it's going to take time, but go watch our 15s, our 16s, our 17s, our 19s play, and you'll see there's layers that are added on every year, but it's the same. Right, and that's how we play. And I mean, you look at it in terms of this entire year so far, we've lost 2 total games, right? which is a bit wild. So for us, it's the how we play. And in year 1 and year 2 of me kind of being here, we dropped some more games, but it's with the long term vision. And now, not only do we get to play our way, the kids love it. I love watching it. It's much more fun for the parents to watch. But we're dominating. Right, on a national level, which is really cool.
So it comes back to I don't want to say an old phrase, but more of a new phrase that's popped up in the last several years is trust the process.
Absolutely.
Trust the process. When the kids come in at 12, 13, 14, trust the process. It's not going to be fun for a couple of months or a year, but then the next year and the next year and the next year, it will be fun because winning will happen and development will happen.
100%, and it's the eternally tough part of, for us as soccer professionals, if you want to call us that, we have all this knowledge and we know it, and we always sometimes assume that everyone else has it, right? And so it's that remembering, and I've still got to do a better job of it. I think everyone does, is we're in a partnership with the parents, right? And we have to do a good job of educating them as to this is what's going to happen. And there's always going to be 1 or 2 who want it right now and they're not willing to wait. And they'll go somewhere else, and that's okay, right? Because I say it openly over and over and over again, is our program is not right for everyone, and you're not necessarily right for us, and that's okay, right? The cool thing about Detroit is there's lots of really good programs, So, and we've had some kids that have gone, and then they go, oh my goodness, what did I do? And they come back, right? We've had some that have gone and they found a great fit, and that's awesome. We get a lot of kids that come in, but it's at the end of the day, we always want to be known as this is who we are. Right, and if you want to be a part of it and you have the talent, the ability, the desire, and the motivation, we're here. If you don't, that's okay, because we've also got lots of great options in the club, but throughout the city, there's fantastic options. So they're in a really cool, part with that. And I also love it because this is going to be weird for a director to say, but I love competition. Because here's the thing: if I'm not on it, someone's going to take my kids. Right, and if they're not on it, I'm going to get their kids. Right. So for me, I think we've been in a position where the market's really kind of opened its eyes in the last couple of years and be like, what is going on at nationals? Like, this is wow. So we've got a lot of interest, and there's been some really talented players that we've said, hey, it doesn't make sense, right? And that's okay. We've had kids from Ohio, we've had kids from Indiana, we've had kids from, believe it or not, Florida, Texas, California, Colorado, want to come and play with us. And for me, it's always been a no, because if you move here, awesome, right? But for me, it's this is who we are, and our kids are all bought in. They're here. We're going to kind of ride or die with our kids.
Sure.
We believe in them. So, we're not going to fly in an all-star, or we're not going to
just for
make
a game,
somebody
right?
sit. Yeah. And it's like, what ultimately are we trying to do at the end of the day? Because as much as our egos all want to say what we do is brilliant, everything below college is developmental.
Sure.
Right? yeah, we've got things we want to win. We want to win everything all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to do it our way on our terms with
Sure.
our kids who
Yeah.
believe in us and trust us. And that's the cool thing is our families are bought in, and
Yeah.
it's our retention rates are through the roof. Even kids where we go, hey, we need to move you on to a different team because developmentally it's right. People don't leave, which is kind of crazy and awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Parents get caught up in what level what team their kid's playing, or what color, right? But
Yeah.
it's more about the kid, more about developing the kid as a human, as a player. And maybe he or she drops down for a year,
And that's
but
okay.
then becomes a superstar and jumps up 2 levels. You just never know, and that's what it's about. 2 kids I want to spotlight.
Yeah.
Two